$40,010 Miller Avatar Offshore 150. $79 boats compete at Fort Myers. 3 racers hospitalized after superboat accident. Hot weather, calm water cause heavy attrition in all classes. Atlantic City promoter relinquishes September race date. Offshore mania sweeps the nation. Today, Marine Machine takes us inside racing, where we'll learn how race medics prepare for daring rescues at sea. Also, Midnight Express Powerboats takes us behind the scenes with computer wizard John Burdick and chief referee Gene Whipp. Here's today's starting lineup. This and more in this edition of the Offshore Powerboat Race Report.
APBA, the American Powerboat Association. Its challenge, fun and excitement. Whether it's unlimited hydroplanes, offshore, outboard hydros and runabouts, inboard or drag, the APBA offers 9 categories of excitement. Racing, officiating, and just plain spectating are a few of the many benefits APBA membership affords you. Send your $30 and join the APBA today.
For dynamic racing action, don't miss our complete series. The Offshore Powerboat Racing Report is available at our video newsstands at each race site. Tapes for the current race are available for shipping within approximately 10 days of the race. Don't be left out. Order now. Visit our Babes video newsstand at the race site or call 305-386-1154 for more information.
The Miller High Life Avatar Offshore 150 is the second race of the 1989 APBA OPT season. The race is held in Fort Myers, Florida, on the warm and beautiful Gulf of Mexico. Vacationers flock to Fort Myers all year round to enjoy the fun and sun. It's a warm and friendly vacation spot, famous for its relaxed family atmosphere. Fort Myers is well known for its scenic beaches and historic landmarks. Inventor Thomas Edison lived his last years here, and his home is now a museum. The new multi-million-dollar race facilities at Tarpon Point Marina have enabled race organizers to centralize the wet pits and dry pits in one location. Race promoter Elmer Tabor has spent months organizing what promises to be the premier sporting event of the year for Southwest Florida. The people of Fort Myers have rolled out the red carpet to welcome the racers this year. Hundreds of local volunteers have joined together to make this event a success. A carnival-like atmosphere prevails as thousands of families turn out to enjoy the events that precede the race. The day before the race, the drivers receive last-minute instructions and an explanation of the race course. APBA Offshore Vice President Stan Fitz addresses the meeting.
Only good news, no bad news. And the good news is that our category offshore is the largest racing category in APBA as of April 30th, with 735 racing members versus 432 last year. So I think we're well on our way to our goal of 1,200 members, and I hope all of you do your share to try and get us at least one member this year. Thank you.
It was also announced that the September 23rd race date had been released by Atlantic City race promoters. A spokesman said this date was too close to the World Championship Series. The race will be rescheduled for another site, and so far Key West, St. Petersburg, and Toronto have expressed interest in hosting the event. Fires in the Everglades are burning out of control to the southeast of the Fort Myers race site. For weeks, a thick blanket of smoke has covered much of South Florida. The haze has drifted as far south as the Keys. 3 weeks ago, the milling area at the Marathon race site was covered by a veil of smoke. How much of a visibility factor the smoke screen will be at race time in Fort Myers is unknown. But we caught up with NBC Channel 20 weatherman Tom Richter at the race site, and Tom gave us this prediction.
Oh, I've been away from the office for a little while, so I'll do like most weathermen do. I'll just make it up. No.
Okay.
The weekend looks okay. You're going to have some afternoon showers, but otherwise the mornings are beautiful. We're going to stay hot. Not quite as hot as it was yesterday. We had some stomping temperatures above 99 in some areas. We had 102 at Bonita Springs and a couple local really hot weather times. So it's too early for that for us. And it's not the rainy season, but yesterday, hey, it did rain a bunch in a few places.
Early morning race day is a busy time as race crews work feverishly in their boats and go over last-minute plans. These preparations are critical and are often due to late-breaking weather and water conditions.
Well, the reason why we're changing propellers is because of the water conditions, and the driver of the boat feels that these propellers will probably perform the best in these type of conditions. The decision made by the driver of the boat.
Today, we're dialed in, we're ready to go. All we need now is a green flag.
This year's Fort Myers race will be run on a different course than in previous years. The race course configuration is laid out in 2 parts. It consists of 1 long and several short laps. The long lap is run by the Superboat, Open UIM2 and Pro Stock class boats. After completing the long lap, they'll proceed to join the Stock class and Sportsman class boat, which will be running only the short laps. The Superboat and Open classes will run 154 miles. UIM2 and Pro Stock will race 127 miles. The stock boats will race 104 miles, and Sportsman class will race 77 miles. APBA Chief Referee Gene Whipp had this to say about the new race course.
Not only are they going out, what, 12 or 14 miles out, but there's no fixed points behind it. In other words, it's not like going down along the beach 15 miles and being able to see a smokestack or a fixed mark of any kind. They're going straight out, and probably one of the things a lot of them are going to find out and will be very interesting is they probably don't realize how critical it is to time that time out there, because you time how long it should take you at what given speed, and of course you don't know this ahead of time, so you have to assume that a speed of 50, 55, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, and then you have to time that, and when the time runs out, the hardest thing you have to do as a driver is stop and figure out which way you're off, left or right. And if you keep going, you'll never find the point, because now you've lost all, because we don't use Lorans, or you can, but very few of them do. So that'd be very interesting. The other thing that happens is to get one guy off of the lead or on the wrong heading and watch all of them follow it. You have to run in offshore your own race, no matter what position you're in, first or last. You have to assume that you're the only one running the right way. As soon as you start assuming somebody else is right, you're going to be off course.
Avatar Offshore 150 from Fort Myers is brought to you on video by Babe Productions. We'll be bringing you the race from the air with our helicopter point of view camera. Our boat camera at checkpoint 6 will be bringing you the race from the water, and our land camera will cover the race from the shore at the Fort Myers Beach Pier. We'll be combining all 3 cameras to bring you a lap-by-lap coverage of today's race. The superboats and open boats are lined up in the chute, getting on plane. They're running a 154-mile race course here at Fort Myers. As the boats get ready for the start of the super and open classes, everybody's trimmed for a drag race to the first checkpoint. The pace boat puts up the green flag and we have a start. Eric's Reality is coming on the outside, pulling out in front right away. It looks like Little Caesars is off to a bad start today. The second start is the UIM2 and Pro Stock boats. The Pro Stock outboards usually get a good start on the inboard UIM2 boats.
Come on, guys. Come on, these guys are coming. Come on, move, Dolphin. Whoa.
The UIM2 boats are starting to wind up now and are already starting to pass the Pro Stock boats. From our helicopter point of view camera, we can see the M10 agitator out in front with M25 extractor right on his tail. Team Skater is running third on the way to checkpoint number 1. Number 26, Hawk Marine Power, is running ahead of M66 Special Edition. And M89 Bad to the Bone is right behind, rounding turn 1. P73 Water Heater leads Pro Stock on turn 1, followed by P71 High Risk. High Risk is a 32-foot skater owned and throttled by Richard Felsen. Larry Van Amede is driving. High Risk is powered by 3 250-horsepower Bridgeport Mercury outboards. High Risk is currently running second in Pro Stock behind Water Heater. P73 Water Heater is also a 32-foot skater. It is owned and throttled by Alan Shapiro. Tim Mayomi is driving. Water Heater is powered by 3 260-horsepower Bridgeport Mercury outboards. Water Heater is starting to break away from the rest of the pack. P75 Ocean Outboard is a 32-foot Douglas Skater Cat running 3 240-horsepower Mercury. Throttle man Anthony Caligari and driver John Shields are running right over these small rollers that are coming into play between checkpoints 1 and 2. Coming up the race course, it looks like M25 Extractor is having some trouble. We're coming up on P88, Miss Don Q. Rum. It's a 32-foot Douglas skater powered by three 365 horsepower Bridgeport Mercury. Felix and Juan Sorales have her running perfectly in these 1 to 2 foot rollers. Up ahead is P27 Risky Business, currently in first place in Pro Stock. Driver Steve Dorsich is stretching his lead in this 32-foot skater. Throttle man Tom Bruno is trimmed out to maximize his tunnel. It seems to be working because they definitely have some speed over the rest of the pack. The first stock boats are just reaching our boat camera at checkpoint 6 on the short lap of the race course. We see S40 Conch Attack pulling ahead of S1 Ocean Outboards. S99 Skater Express is right behind in third place. S11 Fast Lane and S125 Assault are followed by S240 East Coast Marine. D87 Avalon Express leads all sportsman class boats to the turn. Back out on the long lap, number 55, chairman of the board, was dead in the water but has restarted his engine and seems to be running well. Driver Nuri Sabunko and throttle man Tom McQuarrie are trying to make up for lost time in this 38-foot Cougar. Chairman of the board is powered by twin 750 horsepower Lamborghini engines. You can hear them. further up the race course, we have some drag races going on past turn 3. Number 60, Eric's Reality, is moving past US 1 Special Edition. John D'Elia and his son JD have this boat trimmed out even for these conditions. They have this 35-foot Jaguar smoking through the rollers. The rollers have increased to 3 and 4 feet now. In the rough leg, the V-bottoms are really starting to come on and are making up a lot of ground. As number 15, Spirit of America, a 35-foot Jaguar Cat, is challenging number 11, Team Scarab. Number 69, Little Caesar's Pizza, makes his move on the outside. Number 11, Team Scarab, is a 46-foot Scarab Wellcraft V-bottom. It's powered by triple 850 horsepower Gentry American Eagle engines. Team Scarab is driven by Gus Anastasi and throttled by Bill Soroyas. Tom Gentry owns the boat. Right now, the entire field is feeling out this course, trying to get oriented. Team Scarab has passed Little Caesar, who's been leading the pack up until now. Number 69, Little Caesar's Pizza, is driven by Pete Markey and throttled by Trace Martin. They seem to be pulling up as they try to get their bearings. like the type of situation Gene Whip warned us about earlier. There seems to be a lot of confusion out there. New positions, boats scramble to find checkpoint number 4. As our helicopter point of view camera rounds checkpoint number 4, we see number 11, Team Scarab, leading number 15, Spirit of America, with number 60, Eric's Reality, right behind. Heading toward the start and finish line, M32, Team Skater, running behind US 1 Special Edition. M10 Agitator is leading number 60, Eric's Reality.
Now watch. Excuse me, Sheriff.
US 1 Special Edition is first to cross the start-finish line and head back out for lap number 2. Close behind are Team Skater and Agitator. Eric's Reality throttle man Bobby Moore really has that big cat aired out. He's got to pack a lot of air under this monster to get it going. Eric's Reality is running first in Superboat class. Our helicopter point of view camera catches number 15, Spirit of America, humming along. Spirit of America is currently running second place in open class. Spirit of America screams down the course, followed by B-16, turn of the century from the sportsman's class. Team Scarab is running second in Superboat. Here comes number 55, chairman of the board, who has made up a lot of time and is now running third in open class. The chairman is followed by number 69, Little Caesar's Pizza, who is running third in Superboat class. They're cooking down the stretch and a good trim attitude keeping that bow up. Number 2, Dirty Laundry, looks like he's running a little bit wet. He's not quite getting the tunnel lift that he needs. This is a new 38-foot Cougar, and Joe Mock expects to have the bugs worked out soon. We have a drag race going with Miss Don Q Rum and P75 Ocean Outboards. These two skaters are running neck and neck. In UIM2 class, M25 Extractor is back in the race and heading out for lap number 2. Coming around turn 1 on lap number 2, we see chairman of the board running third behind Special Edition and Spirit of America. Little Caesar's Pizza is in the 3rd spot in Superboat class. We can see P73 water heater running ahead of Sportsman B, turn of the century. Here comes P27 Risky Business. Special Edition is running 3rd in its class behind Teep Skater and Agitator. Dirty Laundry is still facing problems. It looks like they're down on power with one of their engines. Let's take a look at the attrition boards and see who's dropped out of the race.
Not all transom brackets are created equal. In fact, it can take 5 of theirs to equal 1 of ours. These days, everyone knows the installation of a transom bracket will improve both the looks and performance of your boat. The installation of a B bracket will prove you know better. B brackets, designed for those who know better.
Even though most people never need to use all the speed and performance Midnight Express is noted for, they like to know they could.
It's time to go on that Midnight Express. I ain't nothing less than the very best. On that Midnight Express. Just coming through.
Midnight Express. It takes one to catch one.
Welcome back to the Miller Avatar Offshore 150. Inside Racing is brought to you by Marine Machine, where the quality never stops. Lee County paramedics J.D. Norman and Kevin Stevens talk to us about how they prepare to save lives at sea.
Recently, we've all been certified in pre-hospital trauma life support, which is also helpful for this type of a race. It teaches us rapid extrication, rapid stabilization of our patients so we can get them to the hospital as quick as way as possible.
To intubate somebody, one, you have to be a licensed paramedic, and you've got to go through a long course. But what we have here, Kevin, yeah. This is one way of trying to ensure that the patient has an adequate airway, because that's what usually comes first. This here is a laryngoscope and a blade. This is a long blade. There are different types and different sizes of blades. And this is the ET tube. And what you do is you insert this in the mouth of a person who doesn't have a gag reflex to open the airway, and you try to visualize the vocal cords. This device has a little light on it so you can see inside the mouth. Then you insert the ET tube, listen to the lung sounds to be sure you're in the lungs, and then you go ahead and inflate the tube and go ahead and ventilate the patient. Okay, the processes that would be involved in getting a patient out of the water and onto the boat so he can get the kind of care that he needs, you need at least 3 people. First person would get to the boat and get the and the other 2 would help getting the patient out. One person would ensure that the patient has an airway while the other 2 are getting the backboard and getting it ready. Then they kind of float him over and they put him on the backboard and strap him down. And it takes at least those people plus the people that are in the boat to get the stretcher or the backboard up into the boat.
Behind the Scenes is sponsored by Midnight Express Powerboats. We visit the Tarpon Point Marina Race headquarters, where John Burdick explains the role of computers in offshore racing.
We're able to get the lap speeds at the start finish, and then at the finish of the race itself, we're able to have all of the passing of the boats at every checkpoint on the race and every time they went by those checkpoints. And we can reconstruct the whole race that way and then break down who was in first, who's in second, who's in third, because they don't all finish at the start-finish line. The way the rules are, the race referee puts the checkered flag out on the course as soon as we have a first place finisher in every class. In most cases, we have first, second, and third in just about every class. It's just the last class that we're waiting on a first place finisher. As soon as the checkered flag goes out on the course, we score the boats at the next checkpoint they go by, that there is a checkered flag waving, and that's where they're officially scored. It can be any place on the course. It has to be at a turnboat though, and we can reconstruct the race and feed in that information and then get the race results out, which gives us their average speed, their lap speeds, their lapse time, of course, how many checkpoints they went by, and so forth, and any infractions or any time moves they missed at a checkpoint. We can pick that up also.
Welcome back to the Miller Avatar Offshore 150 in Fort Myers, Florida. Let's take a look at the lap leaders before we go back to the race.
Our helicopter point of view camera catches up with First Defense on the way out to checkpoint number 6. Owner throttle man Mike Novick and driver Ed Martinez are keeping up a good pace through these 1 to 2 foot rollers. This Skater Cat is powered by triple 275 horsepower Mercury. Mike Novick was named Rookie of the Year last year. First Defense is currently running 3rd in pro stock behind Risky Business and Miss Don Q. Rum. First superboats have reached our boat cam at checkpoint 6. P27 Risky Business is running first in pro stock, followed by S12 Thin Ice. P75 Ocean Outboard is on the inside. Running 4th place in UIM2 is M25 Extractor on the outside. 3rd place in pro stock is P88 Miss Don Q. Rum. Here comes P555 First Defense, now in 4th place in pro stock. M4 Eastern Express, followed by water heater P73. Here comes Cracked Conch, followed by P71 High Risk. Number 26, Hawk Marine Power from the open class, now just rounding checkpoint 6. Back up in our helicopter point of view camera, we can see D17 Bandit running right behind number 69 Little Caesars Pizza and 55 Chairman of the Board. Looks like we have another drag race here. Little Caesars Pizza is a 47-foot Apache. They are running on triple 1,000 horsepower Cobra supercharged engines and key caber drives. Little Caesar is currently running in second place in Superboat behind Eric's Reality. It's V-bottom versus Cat, and right now the Deep V is taking the lead. Rounding turn 4, still following Little Caesars Pizza as Pete Markey and Trace Martin head for the start-finish line. As we round the start-finish line, we see Sportsman's Class C4 Fish Peddler. Our land camera picks up M32 Team Skater running first in UIM 2 class. He's ahead of Superboat leader Eric's Reality. US 1 Special Edition leads the open class. S17 Hat Trick is followed by M10 Agitator running second in UIM 2 class. Here comes Little Caesar's Pizza. He's second in Superboat class, running about a minute behind the leader, Eric's Reality. Fish Peddler, running second in Sportsman C, is trying to catch Dollar Marine. Here comes 55, chairman of the board. He's running second place in open class, about a minute behind US 1 Special Edition. Here's Apache Trader. I don't know how he got onto the race course because he didn't make the start. Here comes S4 Double Cross, currently running sixth in stock class. Here comes D17 Bandit running ahead of P27 Risky Business, who's running first place in Pro Stock. M66 Special Edition is running third in UIM 2. P88 Miss Don Q Rom is second place in Pro Stock. Miss Don Q Rum is followed by P75 Ocean Outboard, less than 1 second behind in third place. Back in our helicopter point of view camera, we can see Miss Don Q Rum and Ocean Outboard still battling it out on the way to turn 1. Right behind them is First Defense. Here we see Dirty Laundry still heading back from the first lap. Number 26, Hawk Marine Power, also heading back towards the start-finish line. We have a report of an accident in Sector M. That's in the water heading back from checkpoint number 6. It's Superboat number 11, Team Scarab. They've spun out and thrown some of their crew members into the water. We can see that the medics have pulled the crew out of the water and are rendering first aid to the crew on the deck. There's no telling what type of injuries you could get by being thrown out of a boat that's doing over 100 miles an hour. Fortunately, the medics are well trained and have responded very quickly to the situation. The crew is going to be taken to Coral Reef Hospital for further treatment. This race, like every other race, Babe Productions has made space available in our helicopter to fly an APBA medic. This space is donated in the name of the Mark Lavin Safety Foundation. Babe is helping to make offshore a safe sport. Babe's boat cam at checkpoint 6 has picked up the lap leaders. Eric's Reality is first in Superboat class. Here comes M32 Team Skater, followed by M10 Agitator. D87 Avalon Express leads Sportsman's class, and US 1 Special Edition leads Open class. Here comes Little Caesar's Pizza, running in second place in Superboat class, about a minute behind the leader, Eric's Reality. Chairman of the board has moved up into second place in open class. A16, Turn of the Century, leads S6, Sunfire. S40, Conch Attack follows. fast away from Sportsman D is followed by M66 Special Edition, running third in UIM 2. Ocean outboard with Miss Don Q Rum right on its tail. These two have been going at each other all day long. Here comes S4 Double Cross. D17 Bandit is next. It's a very sleek-looking 31-foot Image Cat. Here comes P555 First Defense, now running third in Pro Stock. Back up in our helicopter point of view camera, we've caught up with the leaders as they turn checkpoint number 4 and head back to the start-finish line. We get a good look at Eric's Reality. It's a 48-foot Cougar catamaran owned and driven by Charles Marks. His throttle man, Bobby Moore, is a living legend. It was Bobby Moore who invented the position of throttle man. He not only knows his job, but he knows this boat. He rigged it himself. Our land camera is just now picking up Eric's Reality as he passes the start-finish line and heads back out for another lap. Here comes B611, the party's over. US 1 First Edition leads open class. Right behind is Little Caesars Pizza running in second place in Superboat class. Here comes chairman of the board with B40 Headhunter right on his tail. M66 Special Edition is next. He's running second in UIM 2, about 5 minutes behind the leader, Agitator. P27 Risky Business leads Pro Stock. Because of the flat water conditions, there's been a lot of attrition in this race. Everybody seems to be keeping the throttles wide open and revving the engines at high RPMs. Combined with the 90+ degree temperature, we have a lot of equipment failures today. Here comes P555, first defense. He's moved ahead on the last lap and is now in second place in Pro Stock, about 2 minutes behind the leader, Ocean Outboard. Here's P88, Miss Don Q Rum. Miss Don Q is running third in Pro Stock class. P71, High Risk, is running less than 10 seconds behind. It's time to check out the attrition boards again to see who's dropped out of the race.
Stay tuned for more racing action.
Catch the spray. Call today. Want to get involved? Participant, sponsor, spectator, or fan. Call today while you can. Buy a rig off the shelf or custom build one to your specifications. Offshore racing, inboard, outboard, diesel. It's yours for the asking. Catch the spray. Call today.
There's a certain group of hard-working, hard-playing adventurers who take their recreation very seriously. They seek all the thrills and excitement life has to offer. The evidence of their enthusiasm for adventure is all around us in the form of the recreational vehicles they use in pursuit of a good time. Speedboats, glider planes, motorcycles, and jet skis. At last, the underwater adventure seeker comes into his own with the advent of Sports Sub. If you're one of the new breed and you're ready for the ultimate in underwater action, plunge into adventure in a Sports Sub. It's the personal submersible for the new frontier.
Let's take a look at the lap leaders and the exciting conclusion of the Miller Avatar Offshore 150.
Back up in our helicopter point of view camera, we see Eric's Reality, still leading in Superboat class. Charles Marks and Bobby Moore are displaying the style that won the race for them 3 weeks ago at Marathon. The lap leaders are approaching checkpoint number 6. Our Babe's boat cam catches Eric's Reality, the first round of the checkpoint. Little Caesars Pizza and US 1 Special Edition are only moments behind. B78, Bad Influence, leads M10 Agitator. Agitator is leading UIM 2 class. Chairman of the board is still running in second place in open class, and we see S1 Ocean Outboards practically riding in his wake. B611, the party's over right ahead of M66 Special Edition. M66 is running second in his class. Here comes P27, Risky Business, the leader in Pro Stock. Here comes P75, Ocean Outboard, running in second place in his class. Our helicopter point of view camera passes by on the way up the course to catch up with the leaders as they head back toward the start and finish line. Here we have Eric's Reality. With 3,400 horsepower behind him, Charles Marks has no trouble maintaining the lead. The boat is running so smooth, they seem almost like they're out for a Sunday drive. Eric's Reality is powered by 4 850 horsepower Gentry American Eagle engines. You can hear them coming from a mile away. Dropping back a little bit on the course, we come up on number 69, Little Caesars Pizza. Although they are in second place, only 40 seconds separate them from the leader at this point. Anything could still happen in this race. We want to remind you that if you have any good race stories, pictures, or videos, send them to Babe. He wants to put them in our shows. You too can be a Babe reporter. Give us a call in Miami at 386-1154. That's Fun 1154 in Miami. Eric's Reality has just rounded the start-finish line and is heading back out to checkpoint number 1 on his final lap. Eric's Reality is followed by Dirty Laundry, now running in 3rd place in open class. Here comes Little Caesar's Pizza, still holding 2nd place in Superboats. US 1 Special Edition has almost lapped Dirty Laundry as he leads in open class. Chairman of the board is running 2nd place in open class, about 2 minutes behind the leader, US 1. On the way back out to the course, we see a few of the many boats that have dropped out of today's race. As we approach checkpoint number 6, we see P71 High Risk on the far side of the turn, drag racing with M4 Eastern Express. Here comes Water Heater trying to catch up. Our Babe's boat cam operator, Dean Swindler, has no problem following the action from his vantage point here at checkpoint number 6. Miss Don Q Rum passes checkpoint number 6 in 5th place in Pro Stock class. Right now, Miss Don Q Rum has some catching up to do. Felix and Juan Sorales won the Marathon Challenge 3 weeks ago. Right now, they're running 5th behind Risky Business, Ocean Outboards, First Defense, and Water Heater. All day long, Miss Don Q Rum has been engaged in a neck-and-neck battle with P75 Ocean Outboards. Somewhere along this course, she seems to have been edged out. Right now, it's Miss Don Q Rum, running about 6 minutes behind the Pro Stock leader, Ocean Outboards. We want to remind you that if you have any good race stories, pictures, or videos, send them to Babe. She wants to put them in our shows. You too can be a Babe reporter. Give us a call in Miami at 386-1154. That's Fun 1154 in Miami. Even though Miss Don Q Rum has slowed down, she's far ahead of some of the other Pro Stock boats. P45 Scaredy Cat is just now crossing the finish line from the last lap. The leaders are just now passing checkpoint 6 and heading back in for the final lap of the race. We see Eric's Reality still leading in Superboat class. don't count Pete Markey out yet. Little Caesars Pizza is still in the running in second place in Superboat class. Special Edition is making quite a show, running right up there with the Superboats. Here comes Dirty Laundry, still hanging in there after a really difficult race for Joe Mock. Chairman of the board is running right on his tail, behind only a few seconds. Babe's point of view helicopter camera has flown down onto the course towards checkpoint number 4. We find Little Caesars Pizza still in second place. He's only a few minutes behind Eric's Reality. But time is running out, and it doesn't look like he'll be able to catch up. As we fly up ahead to checkpoint number 4, we find Eric's Reality heading down the chute toward the start-finish boat. Dennis Gaffney on Babe's land camera picks up the action as the race leaders pour into the finish line. Here's Eric's Reality, placing first in Superboat.
This is the finish, Brian.
US 1 Special Edition, first place in open class and second overall in the race today. Little Caesars Pizza has made up a lot of time, but not quite enough to win. He'll be placing second in Superboat. Number 26, Hawk Marine, has come in second place in open class. Miss Don Q. Rom is heading in, but no flag for her today. She placed 6th. Dirty Laundry has placed 3rd in open class. What about it? Out on the course, the checkered flag is displayed and everyone knows the race is over.
What an exciting race. Let's take a look at the finals while the winners pick up their flags. Babe Productions would like to thank the APBA and the Florida West Racing Association for helping us bring you the Miller Avatar Offshore 150 on video. We hope you've enjoyed the race and that you'll continue to follow offshore racing throughout the year. We'd like to remind our viewers that Babe Productions is the only video company officially sanctioned by the APBA, and we'll be bringing the excitement of every race on the 1989 APBA OPT circuit right into your home with 11 editions of the Offshore Powerboat Race Report. You can keep up with the racing action all year long, and the next checkered flag is just one tape away.